Hey, how you guys doing today? It is Friday. I'm excited. Today is a good day. I can't wait to hang out with a friend of mine that I haven't seen in a while. I'm getting to pick her up at 12:30 today, and so I'm excited. So I'm coming to you early because I want to make sure that I'm all finished and my afternoon is free. So today I want to talk a little bit about inflammation. Yes, I know it sounds like a boring subject, but it's not. It is one of those ones that can actually save your life. And there are some root causes. Hey guys, hey Reginald, so good to see you this morning. All right, so what I want to talk to you, like I said, is about inflammation. And it is the cause of all preventable diseases. So meaning, diabetes, anything like that. Hey Leslie, good to see you guys. Happy everybody's joining on. So it's the root cause of all preventable disease. That's inflammation. So you're like, okay, now I know the root cause of whatever's going on. So when we talk about diabetes, high blood pressure, anything like headache, stroke, all that, it's about inflammation in the body. So how do we figure out how to get rid of inflammation so that we're not dealing with these diseases and illnesses that we have? So the first place we want to go, you guys know, I know somebody can guess where I'm going to tell you the first place we want to look, our gut. Our diet. What are we putting in our bodies? And I have 5 things I want to talk to you about. Yep, fibromyalgia. Exactly. We're going to talk about that as well, just how all of that happens. So basically, if your gut flora is off and you're eating foods, even if you think they're healthy, like a lot of people will eat things that they think are healthy or eating clean, but they're not good for your digestive system. We all have a unique set of good and bad bacteria that live in our digestive system. You got it, Reginald. Food is exactly it. So basically, when you're doing that and it's in your digestive system, if you have an imbalance of foods that are feeding the bad bacteria, because they have things that they like there's certain foods that, the bad bacteria feeds off of, like sugar being one of them, is yeast, and a lot of other bacteria feed off of that. So when you have that going on, the issue is that now I have a imbalance in my digestive system, and then I have inflammatory responses that happen. So give an example is that if all of a sudden my gut lining starts to erode, it's supposed to be really thick, but because I'm constantly giving it things that it doesn't like, it becomes thinner. And our immune system is designed to hunt out things that we're not supposed to have. And then there's supposed to be a normal response to that to help clear that out of our bodies. But what happens is we all of a sudden will go into a place where our gut lining has become eroded, and then we have food particles that we eat, protein especially, amino acids that literally leach into the bloodstream. So as it leaches into the bloodstream, now our immune system fights ourselves, and we have things that are like autoimmune disorders, fibromyalgia, Crohn's, different things that happen within the body that are autoimmune. It's our body attacking our own immune system because our gut lining has become permeable when it's supposed to be really, really strong, okay? So we got to think about it's almost like a tube, a toilet paper tube, right, in our intestines. And if that toilet paper tube gets wet, stuff can start to seep through. But if it stays nice and dry, you could throw a marble through there and it wouldn't break through. So I just thought of that on my own. I wanted you to see the picture. All right, so what happens is then when our body's constantly fighting itself, you might find you're getting sick often. Like you're constantly having a cold or something like that. Yes, lupus, you got it. All of these are deal with inflammation, guys. So my biggest thing is I want you all to realize is that if we can take care of the root cause of these issues, which is it's just found in our gut, which is fed by what we put in our bodies, and even sometimes the things that we lotion up with and we wash our hair with, and all of that can create these imbalances in our body. We can start taking care of the inflammation. And trust me when I say I was somebody whose digestive system was destroyed by an antibiotic. And 10 years, I have been rebuilding my digestive system so that I don't have these autoimmune disorders and dysfunctions. And I can honestly tell you, I wake up, I have lots of energy. I hardly ever get colds. It's been good. God has been really, really good to provide me with information. And now my heart is to provide it to you guys. So understanding that if you find yourself getting sick a lot, and I'm going to kind of wrote some notes so I don't get distracted because this is my passion. If you find yourself having hives and you don't know why, or if you have allergies, right, and you're like always sneezing or something's going on, sinus inflammation, chronic sinus inflammation, that's one of the things I suffered with the most. Headaches and migraines, okay, mental fog, you can't remember your thoughts, you're just like, oh, I'm having a hard day concentrating at work, memory problems, things like that. All of those things are indicators that you are having an issue with inflammation in the body. So if you're sick all the time, you're getting constant colds. So because what happens is the antibiotics that we have, the foods that we eat, the things that we do are wreaking havoc. The next thing is if you notice that you're always bloated or you have dysbiosis, so your stomach's kind of always distended and you're like, you feel like it's not necessarily fat, like it's not like you're like pinching more fat, but it's that you just feel like your stomach is stuck out a lot of time. Well, what happens is that's when we were talking about the breakdown of the amino acids in the body and the proteins and the leaching through that what we call leaky gut syndrome that somebody has. So we have to do things to clean that up, right? And there are different ways in which we can do that naturally. So if you notice that you're always bloated, that's another sign that you have some chronic inflammation going on. The other thing which we don't realize is that if we're constantly stressed, now I'm not talking about the fact that you've got a deadline at work and something is happening, but if you constantly find yourself like jumpy, something happens, or you find yourself, you're like, dealing, like you're just off. You're a little irritable and you can't quite get it together. A lot of times, that's another sign of chronic inflammation. So what happens is, I'm going to kind of try to break this down, is that there's stresses that happen in the body. And the more you signal those alarms in your body with stress, the more you start to realize that your body will start to produce adrenaline and cortisol and different hormones that now start to have the body in a state of kind of like upheaval. And that continuous over and over production of those hormones causes a stress state in the body even more. And so you now have adrenal fatigue, which we talked about before, and your body can't regulate what's going on. So you have this imbalance that happens in the gut, and you're not able to handle the stressors that come on. So it's kind of like this little cyclical process. And it just alters the microbiome greatly when these hormones are firing all the time, because our gut is our second brain. And so if we're producing more serotonin in our gut than our brain actually does, and dopamine and things like that. So we want to think about what we're putting in. And if we're noticing that the foods that we're putting in our body and the things that we're doing are creating a stressful state for our digestive system, it's going to affect our brain. And that's the next one that we're going to, is that you will find yourself struggling with mood disorders, depression, anxiety, things like that, that you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know why I can't get out of this fog. I can't do this. Well, a lot of things is basically, if you find yourself tired throughout the day, right? These are some of the symptoms or the things. If you find that you don't have a desire, if you're married, for sex in the evening or things like that, yeah, you could just be tired. You could have had a long day, working from 5 a.m. until 8 p.m. and you're exhausted. But a lot of times when it's constant and these things that you're noticing, you're just kind of off mentally, it's that inflammation in the gut once again from the foods that you're eating. And basically it's like if your gut is inflamed, your brain is puffy. That's what I always say. Like if your gut isn't feeling good and you're not there, then your brain is usually not going to function properly, because that vagus nerve that runs from your digestive system to your brain is extremely important, that there's a healthy link. So you think digestive enzymes, I've talked about that. So if you got to go back to YouTube and check out the digestive enzymes thing that I posted, do that, because it talks about being able to break down the proteins and the amino acids, and that builds tissue in the body. The amino acids, the only way to build muscle, right, and get strong is with amino acids. But the other thing we don't realize is that it has a key factor in the development of neurotransmitters to the brain. So getting that healthy connection. I also take products that help with all of that kind of stuff, but I just want to let you know that that's one of the biggest things. And the last thing, I had 5 things I told you. The last thing is that you just can't lose those 10 pounds. You're like, I'm exercising, I'm eating right, I'm thinking I'm doing all of these things right, but you just find that you have that fat in the midsection. And a lot of times it creates this inflammation, will create an issue with insulin resistance, being able for your body to actually produce the right amount of insulin to deal with that. And we can talk about insulin resistance a little bit more. And I think I did a post on that the other day. But that the liver doesn't know what to do with the extra sugar and things that are going on. So it pushes it into the body. And most of the time you'll find that weight around your midsection. So if you're finding that area is bloated and also you have a little bit of that extra love handle stuff going on there, a lot of times that is the factor there. So food sensitivities, things that you don't really know that are in your diet are ways in which you can understand that you're feeding it by feeding your body more and more things that it doesn't need. So you're like, okay, Kim, well, what do I do? Well, this is not a hard thing. It's basically detoxing, all right? And when you do that, you take inflammatory foods out your diet. And so what I wanted to say to everybody, I don't usually come on here with a whole bunch of stuff to do or buy or whatever, but I want to let you know that I do have a program, Gut Check 21, that really helps people pull that out of their diets and walks you through each and every step to make that happen. I just want you to know that I'm here for you. It's open every month. And so if you ever get to that place where you're tired and you want to say, hey, how can I really change my diet to see what's causing inflammation in my body? I'm here for you to help you through that process. So just know that I have a session starting on the 8th of October, and I would love to walk through that with you. If you don't catch October, catch November. But hey, Uncle John, how you doing? So good to see you. So you guys just know my heart today was really to come to you to talk to you about inflammation, but I don't want you to sit there and not know what to do. So remember to share the joy, tell everybody about it. Check out my program, Gut Check 21. I promise you that it is a great way. It's like health coaching literally that you get every month, and you have 2 conference calls a week, so you get to talk to me live and also ask questions. So it's not just about sitting here and listening to me, but you get to ask your health coaching questions. And once you're in Gut Check 21, you're always in Gut Check 21. So you pay for it one time and you're in it for life. I've been doing it since 2015. It's just improved. I have a new web format for it, and I hope that you guys do join me and tell people about it. So peace and blessings. You guys know I love you. Do all things with joy, and remember to share the joy. That means share this out. Share this out either through verbally telling someone, but even just posting the video. You never know who needs to hear this information, because if you're suffering with chronic inflammation, which most of us are, this is the way to prevent some disease. And chronic inflammation ends up going into Alzheimer's and heart disease and all kinds of things, diabetes that we're suffering with in this country and in this world. And so if we can get to the heart of that, that is my heart, is to help you guys live with passion and purpose. So please, please, please just share this out and let people know about it. All right. I love you guys. Talk to you later. Have a great weekend.